The machine that I'm using is actually an old machine made by Sears and Roebuck. It's a Kenmore, and I have had to order parts online. It's always good to know if you need to order parts, you need to know the model number. So somewhere on your machine there should be a little tag that will tell you the model number and the serial number, and whenever you go online, these are the numbers you will use to order parts that are specific to your machine. I just recently purchased this free-form, this is for embroidery because I wanted to try some embroidery. And I needed to get the exact type. I have a low shank hookup, and mine hooks right around that corner, so I need to make sure that it's the right kind. So I used the model number to order, and I ordered all these parts online. See, I bought this machine from a friend on Facebook, and it didn't come with a sewing machine manual. Matter of fact, you can go online and you can look up your machine and your model number, and you can probably download or purchase a sewing machine manual if you don't have one with your machine. I don't have one with my machine. I haven't needed it, but if I needed to, I could do that. I'm still looking for a zigzag press-a-foot. Now, a zigzag is when your needle goes back and forth. Okay, this has just got a little slit, so the needle can only go straight up and down. So that means I can't do buttonholes. I could do buttons with this, because this is the foot. You put the button underneath, and it's got a wide space. So I could use this if I need to do a zigzag for something else. But I'm still searching for a zigzag foot, which I have not yet found. That spool that had different colors on it, well, it had 3 different colors, so I unloaded it onto some old spools. These are not those size bobbins. You can see that they're shorter. They don't work on this side. Your machine will either take this kind or that kind. Make sure you buy the right size bobbin. So now this is free to put some color on it, and I'm just gonna put these away with my spare thread. It's nice to have a case like that to keep your threads. I usually keep several colors of threads around, and I try to keep it stocked in the basic colors that I would use. So now we are going to fill our bobbin, and I have a sewing project that I want to do. I want to make some curtains, and it's going to be in this color, and I didn't have any of that color. Usually you'll find the end of it up underneath the plastic. Just you can either take it off or just lift it up and pull that thread out. Sometimes it doesn't come out too easy. Okay, point out a little problem that sometimes happens. Remember that little split where the thread was caught from the beginning? Sometimes that becomes a problem because your thread will catch in it while you're sewing, and then you wonder, why is my thread breaking? And sometimes it's because of that. So for that reason, I like to put that little split on top. Only problem is that means my thread's going to be coming off counterclockwise, which might cause this little thing to get loose, which is a bit of a pain. Now these things, it comes out, and sometimes I'll be sewing, and it depends on however I put my thread on, and sometimes it'll loosen these things up, which that's going that way. So it might be better to have it coming this way, so it goes clockwise. That way it's not going to loosen it. Hold on, I want to tighten it because it's loose. We'll put it so that the thread comes off on a clockwise manner. So we bring our thread around this side of that little disc, and we want our thread to cross right here. So it's going to cross over each other, and that's going to help to evenly thread. Okay, to get our thread in the bobbin, there's little holes. See the holes? We want to put our thread through one of those holes and just kind of hold on to that loose end. You'll see a little notch on the bottom. See this little thing right here that sticks out of the shaft? That's where that little notch is going to go. And you want to hold on to your thread, and we push this in. Some machines you just pull the bobbin forward. This machine, we push it in like that. And so we just hold on to it and it'll get started. We just step on the presser foot and it will thread it automatically. While you're threading it, you'll see that this goes up and down. Right now I don't have a needle in it. You could take the needle out, but it's okay if you leave a needle in. Sometimes what I do, I will loosen this up. Just loosen it so that the needle doesn't go up and down when I'm threading the machine. See how it just automatically, once it gets full, it just pushes that back, and so you know your bobbin is full. I always like to keep my bobbins full. Threading machine is pretty basic. Some machines will differ a little bit, but for mine, I would go underneath this little loop, come around, and it's going to come down like this. You just have to follow the directions of each machine. Many machines will have diagrams on them. Today's modern machines have diagrams. So now the threads comes down, it comes around the tension knob, and see this little bar? There, you can see how the thread is holding, and this machine has just a hole. I love it when the machine has a slot, because then you could just sort of go like this, but this one does not, so I have to actually feed it through the hole. This little arm goes up and down, okay, and the thread should pull very easy through there. If it pulls hard, then something's not right. Then it comes down here. There's a little catch right in there. I gotta put my needle in because I forgot to put it in. Many needles will have a flat side. See, it's rounded and then it's got a flat side. My machine, the needle goes towards the back. That seems to be a touchy subject with my machine. Other machines, they may go in differently. So the hole of the needle is on the front. Now some machines it feeds to the side. Mine feeds through the front. Okay, so we have our thread behind that little tab there, and then I take my thumb and I put it, there's a little hook right here, and now we have to thread it through the needle. Now my eyesight is really poor, so I'm going to use my needle threader. My needle threader that I can feed into the hole. I could shove that through there, and then I could put my end of my thread, doing this left-handed, in between the space and just pull it through. Now we need to put our thread in our bobbin, and for my machine it does not matter if this turns clockwise or if it turns counterclockwise. It really does not matter. I don't know if that makes a difference in some machines, but there's a little slot here, and you pull it up so that it's coming out through the hole in the top. Okay, and that's how you load the bobbin. Now we need to put the bobbin in the machine. There's a little dial on the front. You hold it like this. This machine's a little harder to get into than a lot of machines because there's a small hole and it's hard to get my hand in here, but I have to manage. See this little arm? This arm is going to fit in that notch at the top. So you hold this, and sometimes I have to put another finger in there to make sure that my bobbin does not fall out while I'm trying to fit this in there. And it's hard to get my hand in here. Whoops. You need to make sure that little arm is positioned at the top. See the arm? And then our thread is just loose. Hold on to our thread, and then we just bring this needle down and back up again, and it usually catches thread. I just pull it out, and now we have two threads, the bottom thread and the top thread, and you can test, make sure everything is good. If it pulls out easy, then it is in the right way. And the top, it should pull easy. Good. We are all set, ready to sew. Some of the frustrations in sewing can be avoided if you have the correct needle size to go with the project that you're working on. Some needles are good for working with knit fabrics, some with woven fabrics, and the package will tell you, like, these needles here are good for knit fabrics and these are good for woven fabrics. I like to keep the little containers that tells you what needle is for what purpose. I keep the packages, that way I don't have to remember. I just look at my little guide and I'll know what. I don't really like to keep my needles in those things. I actually have this little container where I like these little packages right there. But see, this, it tells you the size, but you can't remember, okay, is it the red shaft, blue shank, red shaft, orange shank? You know, what's it for? And that's where it's useful to have this. The red shank and the orange, this is for lightweight woven fabrics. The blue shank with the purple, that is for denim. And when you're sewing with denim, you need a heavier needle. So I like these little holders, and I keep them, and my needles are kept in this handy dandy little container. So this is more convenient, but I keep this in my sewing box in case I need to check which needle do I need. Sometimes the frustrations of sewing is because you have the wrong needle size for the type of fabric that you're working. So if you have the right size thread for the fabric and the right size needle for the fabric, and you take good care of your machine, you should have relatively smooth sewing. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.